Hi guys, this is O-level chemistry and we're looking at some general chemistry concepts. Question 1. Choose from the following polymers to answer the question. So the polymer listed are terylene, which is a polyester, nylon, which is a polyamide, PTFE and polypropylene are addition polymers, starch is uh, polysaccharide, PVC and polyethylene again are addition polymers, protein is a polyamide and polyester itself is polyester. So these are the different polymers we are supposed to choose from. Each polymer can be used once, more than once, or not at all. Which is a polymer that is made from propene? So propene is the monomer for the formation of the polymer known as polypropene. Will form hydrogen chloride when combusted. So a polymer that contains chlorine in its structure would be PVC, polyvinyl chloride. Can be hydrolyzed to form amino acids. Amino acids are monomers for the polymer called proteins, which are polyamides. So when we hydrolyze proteins, we end up with amino acids. So the answer here is protein. Can be hydrolyzed to make simple sugars. So polysaccharides can be hydrolyzed to make simple sugars. And a polysaccharide given in the list is starch. Contains the same linkage as that present in a fat. So fatty acids and glycerol are components that join up together or rather undergo condensation polymerization to form polyesters. So we need to have an ester linkage present. So in the given list, the two polymers that have an ester linkage present are terylene and we've got polyester. So both of them have the same ester linkage as that present in fat. Question 2. Choose from the following polymers to answer the questions. Polymer A consists of two different monomers and a polyamide. So this is a polyamide. B is an addition polymer having the repeat units C2H4. So this is polyethylene. C is a polymer with two different monomers forming an ester bond. So this is terylene. D has an oxygen atom between two organic groups. So this is starch. E has an H atom and a CH3 alternating on one side of the polymer chain. So this is polypropene. F has got a chlorine atom present. This is PVC. G has got multiple organic uh, compounds forming amide bonds. So this should be a protein. H has the same repeat unit present having an ester bond between. So this is polyester. And I has got continuous chain of fluorine atoms making it PTFE. Each polymer can be used once, more than once, or not at all. Which two polymers are polyesters? So the two polymers that are polyesters would be the one having the ester bond between the monomer units. So that would make our answer as polymers C and polymers H because these two had ester bonds present between the boxes. Which polymer is used to make both cling film and plastic bags? So plastic bags and cling film would mean that we would need polyethylene because cling film is polyethylene. And the polymer that was polyethylene was the one that was labeled polymer B. Give the letter of an addition polymer. So polymer B is an addition polymer. Then we had polymer E, which was polypropene. Then we had polymer F, which was PVC. Then we had polymer I, which was PTFE. So all of these polymers were an addition polymer. Then the next part says give the letters of a condensation polymer. So a condensation polymer included the polyamides and the polyesters. So that would make A, C, D, G, and H as condensation polymers. Let's look at these structures. So as we can see, A is a polyamide, C is a polyester, D is a polysaccharide, G is a polyamide, and H is a polyester. So all of these contain the condensation polymer bonds, which are polyesters and polyamides. While B, E, F, and I are all addition polymers as listed in the question asked before that of condensation polymers. Give the letter of the polymer that is a saturated hydrocarbon. So a hydrocarbon is a compound made up of carbon and hydrogen only, and the polymer that is made up of carbon and hydrogen only is either polyethylene or polypropene. So the name of the polymer that represents polyethylene is B, the label is B, and that which represents polypropene is labeled E. So B and E are saturated hydrocarbons. So either of them can be the correct answer here. And last, we have which polymer could be part of a protein. So a part of a protein would have multiple repeat units present, all which are different, making them amino acids and having an amide bond between these boxes. So that would make structure G a protein. Question 3. Choose from the following compounds to answer the questions below. Barium nitrate, calcium carbonate, calcium oxide, methane, propane, iron oxide, potassium manganate 7, sodium nitrate, nitrogen monoxide, sulfur dioxide, vanadium 5 oxide, and zinc nitrate. Each of these compounds can be used once, more than once, or not at all. Which compound is an atmospheric pollutant formed by lightning activity? So, when lightning occurs, the nitrogen and oxygen in the atmosphere react together to form nitrogen monoxide, which is NO. Is the main constituent of natural gas. Natural gas mainly consists of methane, and the formula for methane is CH4. Dissolves in water to form an aqueous solution which gives a white precipitate on addition of aqueous sodium sulfate. So a white precipitate with sulfate would mean the presence of barium ions, because barium sulfate would give a white precipitate, and barium salt which is soluble in the list is barium nitrate. So the answer here would be BaNO3 twice. Is a catalyst in the contact process for the manufacture of sulfuric acid. Vanadium 5 oxide is the catalyst in the contact process in the manufacture of sulfuric acid. Is a product of the thermal decomposition of limestone. So limestone is CaCO3. When it undergoes thermal decomposition, it forms CaO and CO2. So CO2 is not listed in the given compounds, which means the answer for this part would be CaO, or calcium oxide. Question 4. Choose from the following compounds to answer the questions below. Barium chloride, ethene, C3H4. This is propine. C3H8, propane. CO, carbon monoxide. CO2, carbon dioxide. K2SO4, potassium sulfate, Na3PO4, sodium phosphate, SO2, sulfur dioxide, ZnSO4, zinc sulfate. Each of these compounds can be used once, more than once, or not at all. Give a compound which is an acidic atmospheric pollutant from volcanic eruptions. So volcanic eruptions result in the formation of SO2 because sulfur present in the volcanoes would react with oxygen in air to produce SO2. So the answer here would be sulfur dioxide. Next is a saturated hydrocarbon. A saturated hydrocarbon means it forms all single bonds. So the only alkane here is C3H8, which is propane. So the answer here is C3H8. Dissolves in water to form an aqueous solution which gives a white precipitate on addition of aqueous sodium hydroxide. So a hydroxide that forms, which is a white precipitate, would be that of zinc hydroxide. And zinc hydroxide would mean that the solution is that of zinc sulfate. What we also need to remember here is that if we add NaOH in excess, then the zinc hydroxide form would once again dissolve and a colorless solution would form. But that is the only salt that would form a white precipitate on addition of sodium hydroxide, which is a soluble salt. So the answer here is zinc sulfate. Next, reduces iron 3 oxide to iron in the blast furnace. So the compound or the gas responsible for reduction of iron 3 oxide to iron in the blast furnace is carbon monoxide. Next, contributes to the process of eutrophication. Eutrophication is excessive growth of plants in water bodies due to the presence of NPK fertilizers. So the only fertilizer component here which is responsible for eutrophication is sodium phosphate, and the formula of sodium phosphate is Na3PO4. When Na3PO4 enters water bodies, the phosphate present would result in excessive growth of plants, and this would result in the process of eutrophication in which the entire aquatic life dies.